Okay, right? So today, what I want to talk about is how do you fade treats? How do you stop giving your dog treats, right? You don't want to always walk around with treats unless you're like the cat lady who walks around and you see a cat and you always got treats in your pocket. You don't want to be that unless you are that, no offense, right? So you always want to have this in mind that we start out with treats, but the end point, we don't want to keep using treats. We want to eventually fade off of treats, right? So we don't want to stay on treats, right? Now, when I say fade off, it's different than fading off the lure, which I think I mentioned this in another video, but we'll save that. Actually, this is not for this video, right? So fading off of treats. How do we fade off treats? Right? How do we stop giving our dog, they love treats? How do we stop giving them all these treats? Praise is not enough. My dog loves treats. Unless you build a relationship with your dog, which I am a huge fan of, right? And then your dog starts to, accept your praise a lot more than treats. But a good old treat, come on. Are you gonna turn down a good old meal? Anyway, whatever. I'm just talking. But so how do you fade off of treats? 3 ways, right? Well, 3 steps, I should say. So the first step is continuous, right? So whenever you're teaching a new behavior, it has to be a command, a reward marker, and then a treat every single time, right? Otherwise, the dog won't. This is the teaching part. So the dog has to understand that what you're asking them to do, and you did it, and they know they did it based on them getting a reward and you saying the reward marker. So if I tell a dog down, I'll say down, dog downs, yes, and I'll give them a treat, right? Down, dog downs, yes. Back up, give them a treat, okay? So this is really something that that's really important. As a lot of people feel like, oh, it's boring, I'm always gonna have to do this. No, this is just the first stage. The first stage, numero uno, right? So we go from that stage, then we go to the next stage, which is we vary how many rewards we give our dog, right? So if I say down, the dog downs, and he does it quick, precise, he's focused, laser eye contact, focused on me, I'm not gonna give him just 1 treat, I might give him 6 treats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is varying. It keeps the dog on point, right? It keeps the dog more focused on you. Excuse me, guys. Keeps the dog more focused on you, and it keeps the dog realizing that they can never turn their head because they don't know what they're gonna get, right? They never know. And this leads us to the next phase, which is random, right? So I say down, I'll say yes, but I might not give the dog a reward at all, right? Then I'll say down, the dog does it real fast, real nice. I'll say yes, and then you'll get a reward. Now, what this does is it keeps the dogs very focused and on point, right? Because what they'll start to think is, I didn't give a reward this time, I might get a reward the next time, so I have to constantly pay attention. Right? I can't take my eyes off of this guy because he's tricky. He might give me a reward, he might not. We don't know, right? So that's very important right there, right? Now, what you can also do through this is the learn to earn method. Very important. Get your dog to earn everything, right? So going outside, dog has to sit. Before we go somewhere, I tell the dog sit or stand. Let's see. Food. I'll tell the dog to do something. Maybe I'll make the dog down, right? I'll get him to down. Especially before I let on a structured walk, before I let my dog sniff around, I'll give a release word, right? So I'll release the dog. I'll say like free, and let the dog just go and relieve himself or sniff around and see what feces another dog left, whatever. Anyway, so that's that's the learn to earn method, right? Very important to get the dog to realize that they have to earn everything. And you know, you think about us, right? We respect things more when we have to earn it, right? You know, I know people might say, and I say it too, you know, things that are free taste better, right? It does when it's free, right? But the thing about it is, when you really think about it, do you really respect it, right? Think about like some people, like when they get income tax money and they spend it, right? If you really had to, let's say they get, let's say 7,000, right? If you had to save for that 7,000, you'd be a lot less likely to waste it, right? Because you know the hard work it took to really get there. But if, you know, when you get the income, that's why a lot of people, they blow their money on income tax. 7,000. Why? Because they just got it. It just was given to them. Of course, you pay your taxes, yada yada yada, whatever. But I'm saying that you didn't have to necessarily work for that and save up for that towards that point. You just was handed a check, right? So it's the same thing with dogs, with any living thing, right? Or any with a dog. Let's talk about dogs. That's what we're talking about. So it's the same thing. So the thing about it is the dog has to earn. They have to learn to earn everything, right? Everything is not just given to them. They have to earn it. So this is after you do the 3-phase, continuous, varying the rewards, and doing it random. As you're doing that, you have to get your dog to learn to earn. And in like the next videos, we'll talk about making it non-negotiable, because you can teach your dog all you want, right? You can teach your dog and they know, but if you don't make it non-negotiable, you will not have a higher percentage of your dog, let's say, of recall, because you have not made it non-negotiable, right? You have to make it non-negotiable. And we'll talk about that in another video, right? Let's wrap this up because I'm rambling. But